I started planning Thanksgiving in September. Always did. List of guests, menu planning, budget calculations, timeline for shopping, schedule for cooking. Every detail mapped out weeks in advance. My wife Olivia thought it was ridiculous. It's just one meal, Garrett. You act like we're hosting the president. It's not just one meal. It's tradition. It's family. It's showing people they matter. She rolled her eyes. It's you being obsessive about something that doesn't need to be this complicated. We've been married for 16 years. This argument happened every year. Every single year. She mocked my Thanksgiving preparations. And every year, I ignored her and did it anyway. This year was different, though. This year, our kids had joined in on the mockery. My son, Devin, 14, walked into the kitchen while I was reviewing my cooking schedule. Dad's doing his Thanksgiving crazy thing again. My daughter, Mara, 12, laughed from the living room. Does he realize nobody cares as much about turkey? I care, I said quietly. And Grandma Alice cared. This was her tradition. I'm keeping alive. Olivia sighed dramatically. Your mother's been gone for 3 years, Garrett. You don't have to keep performing this elaborate show in her memory. She wouldn't expect that. But she would. Grandma Alice had taught me everything about Thanksgiving, about making people feel welcome, about putting love into every dish, about creating moments that families remember forever. She died right before Thanksgiving 3 years ago. Heart attack. Sudden. Devastating. The last thing she'd said to me was, "Promise me you'll keep doing Thanksgiving right. Don't let it become just another day." I'd promised, and I kept that promise every year since. My planning intensified as November arrived. I had spreadsheets, color-coded calendars, a detailed timeline showing what needed to be cooked when, which dishes could be made ahead, which required last-minute preparation. Olivia found my timeline on the kitchen counter. She picked it up, laughing. "You made a spreadsheet? For Thanksgiving? Garrett, this is insane. Even for you. It's organized. It ensures everything gets done properly. It's neurotic. Normal people don't need spreadsheets for a family dinner." Devin walked in, saw the spreadsheet, and took a photo. "This is going on my Instagram. My friends need to see how crazy my dad is." "Don't you dare post that." I warned. He was already typing. Too late. Hashtag Thanksgiving Dad, hashtag obsessed, hashtag send help. Within minutes, his friends were commenting, laughing, making jokes about my intense planning. My own son had turned me into a meme for his entertainment. Mara joined in, making TikTok videos about my dad's Thanksgiving insanity. She filmed me measuring ingredients precisely, following recipes exactly, checking temperatures with a thermometer. "Look at him," she narrated in the video. "He's treating mashed potatoes like it's brain surgery. This is my life. Send prayers." The video got 12,000 views. 12,000 strangers laughing at me for caring about doing Thanksgiving properly. Olivia thought it was hilarious. "You're TikTok famous, honey. Isn't that what you always wanted?" I wanted my family to take this seriously, to understand why it matters. It's just food, Garrett. Just one day. You need to relax. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I started my shopping. I had a list, organized by store, by aisle, by priority. Nothing left to chance. Olivia refused to come with me. I'm not spending 6 hours grocery shopping for one meal. That's ridiculous. It won't take 6 hours if you help. It won't take 6 hours if you just buy normal amounts of normal food instead of acting like we're feeding the entire neighborhood. We're hosting 15 people. That requires planning. We're hosting your family who will be perfectly happy with takeout pizza. But no, you have to make everything from scratch like you're proving something. I'm not proving anything. I'm honoring tradition. She laughed. You're honoring your dead mother's memory by stressing yourself out for 3 weeks. That's not healthy, Garrett. It's obsessive. I went shopping alone. Spent 4 hours getting everything exactly right. Fresh turkey from the butcher. Organic vegetables. Quality ingredients for every dish. Nothing processed. Nothing shortcuts. Everything made with care. When I got home, Devin saw the groceries. Holy crap, Dad. Did you buy the entire store? I bought what we need for Thanksgiving dinner. For how many people? 100. 15. Like I've told you multiple times. Mara started filming again. Day 12 of Dad's Thanksgiving obsession. He's purchased enough food to survive the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Mom and I are ordering Chinese for dinner because he's been too busy planning his perfect meal to feed us today. The video got 20,000 views. Comments poured in. Most were mocking. Some were supportive. A few understood what I was trying to do, but my own family wasn't among them. 1 week before Thanksgiving, the real mockery began. Olivia's sister Kendall came over for coffee. She saw my cooking schedule posted on the refrigerator. Oh my God, Olivia, is he serious with this? Completely serious. This is every year. He loses his mind over Thanksgiving. Kendall laughed loudly. Garrett, my husband throws a frozen turkey in the oven and calls it a day. You're acting like you're competing on a cooking show. I'm acting like someone who cares about doing things properly. You're acting like someone with too much time on their hands. Get a hobby. This is my hobby. Creating meaningful experiences for my family. Creating stress and anxiety. You mean, look at yourself. Your wound so tight you might snap. Olivia nodded. I've been telling him that for years. He won't listen. They spent an hour discussing how ridiculous I was. How no one needed this level of intensity for a holiday. How I'd taken something simple and turned it into a production. I excused myself and went to the garage. Started prepping. I'd planned to brine the turkey starting today. Needed 24 hours of brining time for optimal moisture and flavor. Devin found me in the garage. Dad, what are you doing? Preparing the brine for the turkey. You're putting the turkey in a bucket of salt water? That's disgusting. It's called brining. It makes the meat tender and flavorful. It makes you look crazy. Mom and Aunt Kendall are inside laughing about you. I know. I heard them. Doesn't that bother you? Not anymore. I've learned to tune it out. The day before Thanksgiving, I took off work. I needed a full day to prep, vegetables to chop, pies to bake, side dishes to prepare. Everything timed perfectly so tomorrow would run smoothly. Olivia was working from home. She came into the kitchen around noon and found me surrounded by ingredients. Cutting boards everywhere. Multiple pots on the stove. The organized chaos of serious cooking. You took the day off for this? Yes. There's too much to do tomorrow if I don't prep today. Normal people prep in like 2 hours the morning of. You've turned this into a 2-day event. I'm ensuring everything is perfect. You're ensuring you'll have a nervous breakdown. Look at you. You're already stressed, and we haven't even started cooking the actual meal. I'm not stressed. I'm focused. You're obsessed. And honestly, Garrett, it's getting embarrassing. Mara's friends at school know about it. Devin's teammates know about it. Everyone thinks you're weird. I don't care what everyone thinks. You should care what your family thinks. Your wife and kids are embarrassed by you. That hurt, more than I wanted to admit. You're embarrassed by me trying to create a nice holiday? We're embarrassed by you turning it into this performance. Like you're trying to prove you're better than everyone else. Like regular Thanksgiving isn't good enough for Garrett Morrison. He needs everything perfect. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? Explain it to me. Make it make sense. I wanted to explain. About Grandma Alice. About the lessons she taught me. About how Thanksgiving was the one day she'd made everyone feel special. How she'd cook for days to show love to her family. But I didn't, because Olivia wouldn't understand. She'd never understood. Thanksgiving morning arrived. I was up at 4:30 a.m. Turkey needed to go in the oven by 5 o'clock to be ready by 2 p.m. when guests arrived. Perfect timing. Perfect temperature. Everything calculated. Olivia woke up at 7 o'clock. Came downstairs to find me already cooking. Multiple dishes in progress. Kitchen organized like a restaurant prep station. You're certifiably insane, she said, pouring coffee. Good morning to you too. Seriously, Garrett, it's not even 7:30 and you look like you've been working for hours. 3 hours. Turkey went in at 5 o'clock. I've been prepping side since. While your family slept. While normal people slept. Because you can't do anything like a normal person. Devin came down at 9 o'clock. Smells good, Dad. But did you really have to start cooking before sunrise? Yes. Timing is important. Timing for what? It's just turkey. You act like you're launching a rocket to Mars. Mara appeared at 10 o'clock. Immediately started filming. Thanksgiving morning in the Morrison household. Dad has been cooking since dawn. Mom hasn't stopped complaining. I'm hiding in my room until this is over. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. She posted it instantly. More views, more comments, more strangers laughing at my family dysfunction. At 11 o'clock, Olivia's parents arrived. First guests. They walked into the kitchen and stopped. Garrett, what is all this? Her mother Clara asked. Thanksgiving dinner. Still cooking. Everything will be ready by 2 o'clock. You're making all of this yourself? Where's Olivia? Getting ready upstairs. Clara shook her head. Son, this is too much. You're going to give yourself a heart attack. Why didn't you just order a prepared meal? Because I wanted it to be special. It's Thanksgiving. It's already special. You don't need to prove anything. More guests arrived throughout the morning. My brother Wesley. My sister Paige. Their families. Olivia's siblings. Everyone walked into chaos. Me cooking frantically. Olivia socializing. Kids playing. Nobody helping. At 1 o'clock, I started final preparations. Turkey was resting. Sides needed finishing. Table needed setting. Everything coming together. Right on schedule, despite the mockery. Paige came into the kitchen. Garrett, you look exhausted. Did you sleep at all last night? A few hours. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're running yourself into the ground for a meal that people will eat in 20 minutes and forget about by tomorrow. They won't forget. Grandma Alice's Thanksgivings were unforgettable. That's what I'm creating. Grandma Alice had help. Aunts. Cousins. Everyone pitched in. You're doing this alone while your family makes fun of you. That's not the same. She was right, but I couldn't admit it. Couldn't admit that maybe I'd been wrong to think I could recreate those magical Thanksgivings by myself, while being mocked and belittled by the people who should support me. At 1:45, I started plating, arranged everything beautifully, made it perfect, 15 minutes until everyone sat down to see what I created. Then my phone rang. Wesley, calling from the living room, instead of walking 10 feet to talk to me. Garrett, we have a problem. What problem? Uncle Jerome just called. He's in the hospital. Heart attack. Aunt Sylvia is with him. She's asking for family to come. My stomach dropped. Uncle Jerome was Grandma Alice's brother, her only surviving sibling. We were close. Very close. Is he okay? They don't know yet, but Sylvia sounded scared. We should go. I stood in the kitchen, surrounded by the meal I'd spent weeks planning, hours cooking. Everything perfect, everything ready. And my uncle was in the hospital, possibly dying. Which hospital? I asked. Mercy General, about 40 minutes away. I looked at the food, at the perfect Thanksgiving spread, at everything I'd worked so hard to create. Then I turned off the stove, started covering dishes. Tell everyone we're leaving. We need to get to Uncle Jerome. Wesley came into the kitchen. Garrett, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Family is more important than turkey. Everyone grab food and eat it in the car or take it home. We're going to the hospital. Olivia appeared. You're seriously abandoning Thanksgiving? After all this? My uncle is in the hospital. That's more important. You spent 3 weeks obsessing over this meal. Now you're just giving up on it. I'm choosing family. Isn't that what you've been telling me to do? Choose what matters. She had no response. Everyone started gathering their things. Some people grabbed plates of food. Most just left it sitting on the counters. My perfect Thanksgiving. Abandoned. But I didn't care. Uncle Jerome mattered more than mashed potatoes. We all caravanned to the hospital. 15 people showing up in the emergency waiting room. Aunt Sylvia was there, crying. She hugged me immediately. Thank you for coming. He's in surgery. They found a blockage. They're trying to clear it now. How long has he been in surgery? 2 hours. They said it could be another hour or more. We waited, all of us, in uncomfortable chairs, with terrible hospital coffee. No food except what some people had grabbed from my kitchen. 3 hours passed. The surgeon finally came out. He made it through surgery. The blockage is cleared. He'll need recovery time, but he should be okay. Relief flooded through me. Uncle Jerome would survive. That was all that mattered. Aunt Sylvia grabbed my hand. Thank you for coming. Jerome was asking about you, about whether you'd made it. Of course I made it. He's family. He said you probably had Thanksgiving dinner happening. Said you'd be cooking your grandmother's recipes. He felt bad that we interrupted. He didn't interrupt anything important. This is important. We stayed another 2 hours until Uncle Jerome was moved to recovery. Conscious. Weak but alive. I went in to see him. He smiled when he saw me. Garrett, you came. Sylvia said you abandoned Thanksgiving dinner to be here. It was just food, Uncle Jerome. You're more important than food. Alice would be proud. She always said you understood what mattered. That's why she taught your recipes. Not because you'd make perfect turkey. Because you'd understand that cooking for people is about loving them. Tears filled my eyes. I miss her. Me too, son. Me too. But she's here. And you. In the way you dropped everything to be here. That's what Thanksgiving means. Being there when it matters. We drove home around 9 p.m. The food was still sitting out, ruined by sitting at room temperature for 7 hours. All that work, all that planning, all those perfect dishes, wasted. Olivia looked at the mess. Well, this was a disaster. Uncle Jerome is alive. That's not a disaster. You know what I mean. All your planning, all your obsessing. And we didn't even eat Thanksgiving dinner. We can order pizza. She stared at me. After everything you said about tradition and doing things properly, you're suggesting pizza? I'm suggesting we're together. We're healthy. Uncle Jerome is alive. We can eat pizza and be grateful for what matters. For the first time in weeks, Olivia looked at me differently, like she was seeing something she hadn't seen before. You're really okay with this? After all that work? I'm not happy the food is ruined, but I'm happy we were there for Uncle Jerome. That's what Grandma Alice would have wanted. Devin had been quiet the whole drive home. Now he spoke up. Dad, I'm sorry. For what? For making fun of you. For posting about you online. For calling you crazy. You're not crazy. You really care about people. Mara nodded. I'm sorry too. My TikTok stuff was mean. I deleted the videos. You don't have to delete them. Yes, I do. Because they were making fun of you for trying to do something nice. That's not cool. I felt something shift. Like weeks of tension suddenly releasing. We ordered pizza. Sat around the kitchen table eating it off paper plates surrounded by ruined Thanksgiving food. And somehow, it felt more real than any elaborate meal could have felt. Wesley called around 10 o'clock. Uncle Jerome is resting well. Doctors say he'll make a full recovery. Might even be home by Monday. That's great news. Garrett, I've been thinking. About today. About everything. You were right. Right about what? About Thanksgiving matching. About it being more than just food. You planned this elaborate meal, and we all made fun of you. But when it mattered, you dropped everything to be there for Uncle Jerome. That's what Grandma Alice taught you. Not recipes. Priorities. Friday morning, I woke up to my phone exploding with notifications. Confused, I opened social media. Mara had posted something new. A video I hadn't known she'd filmed. It was from the hospital. Me sitting with Uncle Jerome, holding his hand, talking quietly. The caption read, "Yesterday I made fun of my dad for taking Thanksgiving too seriously. Last night, I watched him abandon the perfect meal. He'd spent weeks planning to be with his uncle in the hospital. I was wrong. He doesn't take Thanksgiving too seriously. He takes family seriously. And that's what Thanksgiving is supposed to be about. Sorry, Dad. You're not crazy. You're just the best dad ever." The video had 200,000 views. Comments flooded in. People sharing their own stories about family members who went overboard for holidays, about understanding now that it came from love. Someone commented, "This made me cry. Your dad gets it. Most people don't." Another, "I used to think my mom was crazy for her Christmas preparations. Then she died, and I realized she was creating memories. Your dad is doing the same. Cherish it." Olivia came into the bedroom. She'd been crying. "Have you seen Mara's video?" "Just now. I didn't know she filmed that." "Garrett, I owe you an apology. A big one." "You don't." "Yes, I do. I've spent years making fun of you for caring, for trying, for wanting to create something special. And I was wrong. So incredibly wrong." She sat on the bed next to me. "Yesterday, watching you abandon everything you'd worked for to be there for Uncle Jerome, I realized what you've been trying to tell me. It's not about the food. It's never been about the food. It's about showing people they matter, that you'll show up for them, that you care. That's what Grandma Alice taught me." I said quietly. She'd spend days cooking not because she loved cooking, but because she loved people. Every dish was her way of saying, "I see you. I value you. You're worth this effort." Olivia was crying harder now, and I made fun of you for trying to honor that. What kind of wife does that? You didn't understand. I didn't explain it well. You tried to explain. I didn't listen. I was so focused on how it looked to other people. How embarrassing it seemed that my husband cared so much. I was shallow and cruel, and I'm so sorry. We sat together in silence. 16 years of marriage. And we just had our first truly honest conversation about what mattered. "Can we try again?" she asked. "Next Thanksgiving? But this time I'll help, and I won't complain. I'll learn what you're trying to teach." "I'd like that." Devin knocked on the door. "Dad, can I talk to you?" "Of course." He came in looking uncomfortable. Teenage boys aren't good with emotions, but he was trying. I showed Coach the TikTok videos. The ones Mara made of you. I thought it would be funny. Everyone would laugh. But Coach didn't laugh. He said his dad used to do the same thing. Went all out for holidays. Coach made fun of him too. And then his dad died suddenly. And now Coach would give anything to have one more crazy overplanned holiday with him. Devin was crying now. "I don't want to wait until you die to realize you were just trying to show us you love us. I get it now. And I'm sorry." I hugged him. This 14-year-old who thought his dad was embarrassing, who'd made me into a social media joke, who was now understanding that love sometimes looks like obsessive Thanksgiving planning. That afternoon, Mara came to me. "Dad, my video went viral. Like really viral. 3 million views. People are asking if you'll do a Thanksgiving tutorial. Show them how to plan and cook like you do." Why would anyone want that? Because after Uncle Jerome, people understood. You're not crazy. You're preserving something important. People want to learn. That week, I got dozens of messages. From people who'd seen Mara's video. From people who wanted to know how to make Thanksgiving special. How to honor traditions. How to show love through food and preparation. One message stuck with me. "My dad used to do elaborate Christmas displays. It annoyed me so much. All that work for something temporary. He died last year. This year, there's no display. And I'd give anything to see those lights one more time. To tell him I understood he was doing it for us. Please keep doing what you're doing for your family. They'll appreciate it someday." I showed the message to Olivia. She read it and started crying again. That could have been us. Our kids realizing too late what you were trying to give them. But it's not. They understand now. Because we almost lost Uncle Jerome. Because something dramatic happened. That shouldn't be what it takes for me to see how lucky I am. She was right. We shouldn't need crisis to recognize love. But sometimes we do. Sometimes we're too busy, too distracted, too focused on what's easy to see what's important. That Sunday, Uncle Jerome came home from the hospital. We visited him, brought food, sat with him and Aunt Sylvia. It felt like family was supposed to feel. "Garrett," he said as we were leaving, "Alice told me once that you were the one who'd carry on her legacy. Not because you were the best cook, because you understood that food is love made visible. Don't let anyone take that from you. I won't. And teach your kids. They're learning now. Don't let this moment pass without teaching them. The following weekend, I did something I'd never done before. I taught Devin and Mara how to cook, not just recipes, the why behind it all. Grandma Alice used to say that when you cook for someone, you're giving them your time, your energy, your attention. In a world where everyone's busy and distracted, that's the greatest gift. Mara was writing everything down. So it's not about the food being perfect. The food should be good. But more importantly, the effort should be genuine. People can taste the difference between food made with love and food made with obligation. Devin was surprisingly focused. Is that why you plan so far ahead? So you have time to put love into it. Exactly. If I'm rushing and stressed, that stress goes into the food, into the experience. But if I plan, I can cook with joy, with intention, with love. We spent the day making Grandma Alice's recipes. I told them stories about her, about learning to cook at her side, about the lessons she'd taught through pie crusts and gravy. Olivia watched from the doorway. She was crying again, happy tears this time. What? I asked. I'm watching you give our kids something I try to take away. I'm so sorry for that. You're here now. That's what matters. She joined us. For the first time in 16 years of marriage, my wife participated in my Thanksgiving preparation. Not grudgingly, not mockingly, with genuine interest and effort. We cooked together, as a family. It was messy and chaotic and imperfect, but it was real. That evening, we ate the meal we prepared, around our kitchen table. No guests, no performance, just family. This is good, Dad, Devin said, like really good. It's Grandma Alice's recipe. She knew what she was doing. I wish I'd known her better. I was little when she died. She would have loved teaching you to cook. She would have loved all this. As December approached, Olivia surprised me. What if we did Christmas the same way? Plan ahead. Make it special. Do it right. You hate when I go overboard for holidays. I hated it because I didn't understand it. Now I do, and I want to be part of it. I want to create those memories with you. We planned Christmas together. She dove in with enthusiasm, made her own spreadsheets, color-coded her own calendar, became what she'd once mocked. Now I get why you do this, she said one evening. It's actually fun when you're not fighting it, when you embrace it. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I know. I'm sorry it took me so long to listen. Devin and Mara got involved too. They helped plan, helped decorate, helped cook. It became a family project instead of my solo obsession. Mara posted about it. Update. My family is now fully converted to Dad's holiday planning methods. We have spreadsheets. We have timelines. We are Dad's children. And it's actually amazing. The video got 5 million views. Comments poured in from people who'd been following our story, who'd seen the hospital video, who'd watched our family transformation. This is the wholesome content the internet needs. Your dad was ahead of his time. Glad you finally get it. Family goals. Seriously. Christmas came. We executed our plan perfectly. Everything we'd prepared. Everything we'd organized. The house was beautiful. The food was incredible. The memories were real. Uncle Jerome and Aunt Sylvia came. He was fully recovered, strong, happy. He looked around at our decorations, at the effort we'd put in, and smiled. Alice is smiling too. Somewhere up there, she's so proud of you, Garrett. I promised her I'd keep it going. I'm just glad my family finally understands why. New Year's came. I was reflecting on everything that had changed, everything that almost didn't change. If Uncle Jerome hadn't had that heart attack, would my family ever have understood? Would they still be mocking me? Would I still be fighting alone to preserve traditions that mattered to me? Maybe, probably. But crisis has a way of clarifying what matters, of stripping away the superficial complaints and revealing the core truth. The truth was, I love my family. And I showed that love through elaborate holiday planning, through cooking, through creating experiences. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't obsessive. It was love. And they finally saw it. In January, I got an email from a publishing company. They'd seen the viral videos. Wanted to know if I'd be interested in writing a cookbook. Not just recipes. Stories. The why behind the cooking. A cookbook about cooking with intention, the editor explained. About food as love. About preserving traditions in a world that's forgetting them. I showed the email to Olivia. Should I do this? Absolutely. You have something important to share. Share it. So I started writing. Grandma Alice's recipes. The stories behind them. The lessons about love and family and showing up for people. The truth that food is never just food when it's made with intention. Devin and Mara contributed their perspectives. What it felt like to be the kids who mocked their dad. What it felt like to realize they were wrong. What they learned from watching me. Mara wrote, I thought my dad was embarrassing. Turns out he was just committed to something I didn't understand yet. Now I understand. And I'm grateful he didn't give up just because we made fun of him. Devin wrote, my dad taught me that caring about something deeply isn't weakness. It's strength. Most people are too scared to care that much. Too worried about looking uncool. Dad never cared about looking cool. He cared about showing love. That's real strength. The book took 6 months to write. It was released in September, timed perfectly for people planning their own Thanksgivings. It became a bestseller, not because of the recipes, though those were good, because of the message, because people were hungry for permission to care deeply, to try hard, to create meaning instead of just going through the motions. I did interviews, appeared on morning shows, talked about traditions and family and love. One interviewer asked, what would you say to people who think you take holidays too seriously? I'd say you can't take love too seriously. And that's what holidays are. Opportunities to show people they matter, to create moments they'll remember, to give them your time and attention in a world where both are increasingly rare. But isn't there something to be said for keeping it simple? Not stressing over perfection. I'm not stressing over perfection. I'm investing in connection. Big difference. Stress comes from obligation. Joy comes from intention. I choose intention. The interview clip went viral. 8 million views. People sharing it, tagging friends and family members who needed to see this. Comments flooded in. This man gets it. Why are we so afraid to care? I'm going to stop making fun of my mom for her Christmas decorations. She's been doing this all along. Permission to care deeply granted. Thank you for this. Thanksgiving approached again. 1 year after everything changed. My family helped me plan. No mockery. No complaints. Just genuine participation and effort. We invited Uncle Jerome and Aunt Sylvia again. This time, everyone showed up with dishes they'd made, using recipes from my book, using the lessons I'd taught them. The table was full. The food was incredible. And everyone understood why we were there, why we'd worked so hard, why it mattered. As we sat down to eat, Olivia stood up. I want to say something before we start. Everyone went quiet. 1 year ago, I thought my husband was crazy. I thought he took Thanksgiving too seriously. I made fun of him. Let our kids make fun of him. Treated his genuine love like it was a burden. She looked at me. I was wrong. So profoundly wrong. Garrett doesn't take Thanksgiving too seriously. He takes family seriously. He takes love seriously. And instead of mocking him for that, I should have been learning from him. She wiped tears from her eyes. I'm grateful that Uncle Jerome's heart attack woke me up before it was too late. I'm grateful our kids learned this lesson young. I'm grateful Garrett never gave up on creating meaningful experiences, even when we gave him every reason to quit. Here's to Garrett. She raised her glass. For understanding what matters. For teaching us what matters. For loving us enough to keep trying even when we were mocking him. Everyone raised their glasses. To Garrett, Uncle Jerome added, and to Alice, for teaching him well, for knowing he'd carry on her legacy, for understanding that love is what we leave behind. To Alice, we ate. The food was perfect. But more than that, the feeling was perfect. connection, gratitude, love, everything Grandma Alice had taught me, everything I tried to create. After dinner, Devin pulled me aside. Dad, I've been thinking about college, about what I want to study. What are you thinking? Culinary school. I want to learn to do what you do, not just cook, create experiences, show people they matter through food. Pride flooded through me. Grandma Alice would love that. Will you teach me? Really teach me? Everything she taught you? Of course. I'd be honored. Mara joined us. I want to learn too. Not culinary school, but I want to keep helping, keep documenting, keep sharing this with people. Deal. That evening, after everyone left, Olivia and I cleaned up together, loading the dishwasher, putting away leftovers. The quiet work that comes after big celebrations. Thank you, she said. For what? For not giving up on us. For not letting our mockery break you. For staying true to what mattered even when we made it hard. You're my family. I wasn't going to give up on you. A lot of people would have. A lot of people would have said, fine, if you don't appreciate it, I won't bother. But you kept bothering, kept trying, kept showing love even when we weren't returning it. That's what Grandma Alice taught me. Love isn't conditional on being appreciated. Love is consistent even when it's not reciprocated. Eventually, people come around, or they don't, but you keep loving anyway. She hugged me. I'm sorry it took Uncle Jerome almost dying for me to come around. What matters is that you did. The next day, Uncle Jerome called. Garrett, I want you to have something. What's that? Alice's recipe box. The original one, with her handwriting, her notes, everything. Uncle Jerome, that should stay with you. She would want you to have it. You're the one carrying on her work. You deserve to have her actual recipes, not copies, the originals. He brought it over that afternoon, a wooden box worn with age. Inside, hundreds of recipe cards in Grandma Alice's neat handwriting, notes in the margins, modifications she'd made over the years, a lifetime of cooking wisdom in one box. I opened it carefully. On top was a card addressing me, in her handwriting. Garrett, if you're reading this, I'm gone. But my legacy lives on in you. These recipes aren't just food. They're love letters. Every dish is me saying, I see you. I value you. You're worth this effort. Keep saying that to people. Keep showing them they matter. The world needs more people who care deeply. Don't let anyone make you feel foolish for being one of them. Love, Grandma Alice. I sat holding that card for a long time. She'd known. She'd known I'd face mockery, resistance, people telling me I was too much, too intense, too serious about something that didn't matter. And she'd written this card to remind me that it did matter, that I wasn't foolish, that the world needed people who cared deeply. Devin read the card over my shoulder. She knew you, Dad, really knew you. She knew what I'd face, what anyone faces when they care about something others don't understand. I'm glad you didn't give up. Me too, son. Me too. Over the following months, my book continued selling. People reached out sharing their own stories, about being mocked for caring, about taking holidays too seriously, about eventually being understood. One message stood out. My daughter made fun of me for years about my Christmas village. 300 pieces. Takes me weeks to set up. She called it obsessive. Then she had her own daughter. And this year, she asked me to teach her granddaughter how to set up the village. She finally understood I was creating magic, creating memories, creating love. Thank you for validating people like us. Another. I was the person who mocked my husband for his elaborate Thanksgiving planning. Your wife's story is my story. I'm so grateful. I figured out while he's still here to appreciate it. Not everyone gets that chance. The messages kept coming. Hundreds, then thousands. People who've been made to feel foolish for caring. Who've been told they were too much, too intense, too serious about things that didn't matter, but they all mattered. Every tradition, every elaborate celebration, every overplanned holiday. They all mattered because they were love made visible. I started a podcast called Love Made Visible. Interviewed people who created meaning through their actions, through cooking, through decorating, through planning, through caring deeply when the world told them not to. One episode featured a woman who planned her children's birthdays months in advance. Themes, decorations, custom cakes. Her family mocked her, said she was creating stress over something simple. Then her daughter grew up and told her, "My birthday was the one day every year I felt like the center of the universe. Like I mattered more than anything else. You gave me that. Thank you." Another featured a man who wrote detailed Christmas letters every year. Updates about his family. Stories. Photos. People told him no one read them. They were too long. Too much. But after he died, his children found boxes of responses. People thanking him for the letters. Saying they were the only personal mail they received all year. Saying his letters made them feel connected. The podcast grew. Reached millions. Became something bigger than I'd imagined. Mara managed the social media for it. Posted clips. Engaged with followers. Built a community of people who'd been mocked for caring. Who'd found validation in our message. "Dad, you're creating a movement," she said one evening. "I'm just sharing what Grandma Alice taught me. You're giving people permission to care. In a world that tells everyone to be cool and detached, you're saying it's okay to be passionate. That's powerful." Devin worked alongside me on cookbook number 2, Advanced Holiday Cooking. More recipes, more techniques, more lessons about intention and love. This one's dedicated to you and Mara. I told him, for learning young what took me decades to understand. What's that? That caring deeply isn't weakness. It's the only thing that matters. 2 years after the Thanksgiving that changed everything, Uncle Jerome passed away. Peacefully, in his sleep. He'd lived 2 good years after his heart attack. Made the most of every day. At his funeral, Aunt Sylvia asked me to speak. I stood in front of everyone who'd known and loved him. Uncle Jerome taught me something important. He taught me that crisis clarifies priorities. When he had his heart attack 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, my family was forced to choose. Perfect meal or family member in need. We chose family, as we should have. But here's what Uncle Jerome said to me afterward. He said that my ability to abandon that meal immediately showed what all my planning had really been about. Not the food, the people. If it had been about the food, I would have stayed home, protected my perfect turkey. But it was about family. So I went to the hospital without hesitation. That's what he taught me to see. That all my preparations, all my planning, all my intensity wasn't about creating perfect holidays. It was about creating space to show love. And when crisis came, I had enough love stored up to know exactly what mattered. Uncle Jerome got 2 more years, 2 Thanksgivings, 2 Christmases, time to heal, time to reconcile, time to see his family finally understand what his sister Alice had taught us. He died knowing her legacy was secure. That's all he wanted. After the funeral, Aunt Sylvia hugged me. Alice and Jerome are together now, probably arguing about whose stuffing recipe was better. But they're together, and they're proud of you. I hope so. I know so. You took mockery and turned it into meaning. You took resistance and turned it into teaching. That's what they would have wanted. Life moved forward. My family was different now. Connected. Intentional. We didn't take relationships for granted. We showed up. We created experiences. We loved visibly. 3 years after everything changed, Devin graduated from culinary school, top of his class, offered positions at prestigious restaurants. He turned them all down. "I want to teach," he said. "Like you taught me. I want to show people that cooking is love. That food matters because people matter." He opened a cooking school, Alice's Kitchen, named after his great-grandmother, teaching her recipes, her techniques, but mostly her philosophy. Mara graduated college with a degree in digital media. She built a following of 2 million people who'd followed our family's journey from mockery to understanding. "I want to keep doing this," she said, telling stories about people who care deeply, who create meaning, who refuse to let the world make them feel foolish for loving hard. She started a production company, produced documentaries about people like me, people who took holidays seriously, who planned elaborately, who cared intensely about things others dismissed. One documentary featured a man who decorated his house with 50,000 Christmas lights. His neighbors had complained for years, called him excessive, ridiculous. Then a child with cancer saw the lights from the hospital across the street. Those lights became the last beautiful thing she saw before she died. Her parents thanked the man. Suddenly, the neighbors understood. Another featured woman who hosted elaborate Passover seders. Her family thought she was obsessive, too traditional, until her teenage grandson asked to learn the customs, to carry them forward, to preserve what she was protecting. Then they understood what they'd almost lost. The documentaries won awards, changed hearts, gave people permission to care openly. 5 years after I'd been mocked for taking Thanksgiving seriously, my life looked completely different. My marriage was strong. My kids were thriving. My work was meaningful. All because I refused to stop caring even when caring was mocked. Olivia and I were featured in a magazine article. The couple who changed how America does holidays. We didn't change how America does holidays. Olivia laughed. We just stopped being ashamed of caring. That's changing how America does holidays, the reporter replied. In a culture of low effort and minimal investment, you're modeling something different. High effort, deep investment, and people are responding. Because people are hungry for meaning, I added, hungry for connection, hungry for experiences that matter. We're not doing anything revolutionary. We're doing what families used to do naturally before we all got too busy and too cynical. The article went viral, started conversations. Think pieces about whether we lost something important in our rush to make everything easier, whether convenience had cost us connection. I was invited to speak at conferences, TED Talks, corporate events. Always the same message. Caring deeply is not weakness. It's courage. It's strength. It's love made visible. One talk particularly resonated. We live in a world that tells us cool is better than committed, detached is better than devoted, casual is better than caring. But that's a lie. The people who change the world are the people who care deeply, who invest fully, who refuse to be embarrassed about their intensity,